Welcome back, everybody. It's not quite 5 o'clock in the morning anymore, but we are here, and today we are speaking about the folk music of Trinidad and Tobago and the Caribbean on the whole, because we of course have Natalie with us as well, so we'll be getting some info about Jamaica also. Now, a big part of our culture and a big part that is definitely steeped in culture is that of Kalinda, or what some of you would know as stick fighting. Of course, the boss himself, Keegan Taylor, is here with us this morning to give us some information on some of the origins of the music we find in Kalinda and the practices and rituals as well. Good morning, Keegan.
Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago and the world.
Now, Keegan, we just now in the background we would have been hearing a chant from stick fighting, and before we get into that itself, actually, where is we know that stick fighting has come from the origins in Africa, and we find a lot of the traditions and things that would have been passed down, but the chants themselves, we know them to be in English. Could you tell us about the origins of the chants and how they came about, and the purpose of the chants as well in Kalinda?
Okay, so there's so much that, like, for example, when you talk about the history of stick fighting, you kind of have to figure out at what point in history you want to start off. However, essentially the history in Trinidad and Tobago, we have to understand the composition of the language that we use. So we are talking about a time when what we call enslavement, the enslavement period, and when the African, enslaved people would have come here and really and truly just trying to maintain their culture through music and song. And Kalinda, as we know it, is something that came to us, It didn't just come from Africa and just arrive. It passed through different places before it actually got here. So it Haiti and some other places where culture was absorbed. And then when it came here, it was its own thing. So without going through all of that, I would say that it's essentially the combination of voice, or what we call the chanteur or the singer, and the drummers. The context of all of this music and singing, of course, is two men, two fighters trying to bust each other head. And when people essentially ask the question, why do people even go into a situation like that? One of the reasons is this music and what the music makes you feel to do. So when two warriors step out into the field or into the guile, they're not just going to fight just so all the time. Yeah, they love the game, but let me tell you, see that music that drives, it really and truly gives them the incentive, the motivation, the spiritual connection. So a lot of the language that you would hear is a lot of patois, so patois combined with English fused. Over the years, some of the patois, the genuine patois, would have transferred and been bent by different singers. So now you would have a different type of language emerging almost. So like, Olive, Mina Nuna, what is Mina Nuna is not necessarily what the patois is, the original patois. And there are those who are more qualified to give you the specific patois words.
Right.
However, in terms of like the what's the word, the vernacular, if you will, like just the way it sounds over the period of time has become canon or so to speak, right as well. You know what I mean? So that's essentially what has happened. It's really a combination of the patois, even some original French words and English. Yeah.
But Keegan, the content of what is being said in those songs though is oftentimes very much bravado and very much is it that it's meant to encourage that sort of I better than you.
Yeah, well, I mean it's hype, you know what I mean?
Is okay.
But really and truly the music could be, if you really want to get clinical with it, it could be broken down into a few areas. So picture the stick fight itself, you know what I mean? What time it is? Let me say 6 o'clock in the evening, Saturday evening, right? Around carnival time. When you reach carnival, yet it's about 2 weeks out. You're down in Moruga, you and your partners and them going for them fellas up kush. You understand what I'm saying? Get your bath, you do your ritual bath, you cleanse yourself, you're ready for war. 6 are we going down, jump in our panel van and we heading up the road. It's about 10 p.m. now. We have some men in the back in the panel beating some drums. What vibe we going on? We going and play Chicky Pets? No, we're going for war. So you're going up the road now and you have to build a vibe. No, you want that hype vibe. You might have something slow. Like, there's no trusty mini drum this morning that will be helping me. And to give you a basic beat, we call the Kalinda beat, is just like your heartbeat. Yeah. Marching to Berlin, riding on a donkey, marching to Berlin. Marching, look how we're crying, marching to Berlin. Marching, look how we're crying, marching to Berlin. Look how them women, look how them coming. So it's like you get yourself marching to Berlin. Marching to Berlin is ideally a World War II kind of concept, where you're getting yourself ready, you're going to battle. So when you reach now on the location, this vibe, marching to Berlin, riding on a donkey. Yeah, boy, you're coming down the road. Berlin. Pass is like 6 hours, you have 6 fellas, some women coming down with you, marching. So the people now seeing this squad from Maruga coming. No, all right, this team reach. Now when you reach inside the guy now, it's a different kind of energy. You know what I'm saying? So you have the fight.
So the tempo is more upbeat when you reach inside the guile.
Yeah, so you have a tune now, we call the fight music, something like send a woman for me, send them by the 1,000, send a woman for me, send them, send a woman. So the drum pattern now pick up on you, so it's more like send a woman for me, send them by the 1,000, send a woman for me. So it picks up more, you know what I mean? So the vibe of the energy. When you're catching yourself, so you picture yourself, stand up around the drums, you now reach, you now land, I didn't now land music, right? And then now you have the fire. Oh Lord, tingere, oh Lord, tingere, sapiti me mama, tingere, you know what I mean? Since I was a boy, you know, like stuff like that is the energy. And then you have some other fight songs, you have some songs when you sing them, somebody sure to get cut, you know? And then finally you have the kind of festive songs when, you know, blood draw, everybody cool, you're right, you know, just chilling, having a beer, you're vibing, right. And it's like a social kind of energy.
So the music is very connected and is in tandem with what's happening at the time.
Correct.
Now you liken the drum beat to the heartbeat earlier, Keegan. And you know what is the deeper significance of the drums in Kalinda?
Well, I mean, in the past, I would have thought, you know, what we have to do is stitch drumming throughout the African continuum of culture and even worldwide, not just African, Indian, I think any culture that you look at, you would see that the drum has a very authority in any space that it is there in, you know what I mean? So we look to the drums. Some people look to the drums secondary to probably like the chantel or an elder in the space, but really and truly amongst African drummers and masters, they would tell you, hey, the drum is the boss. Because the drum instructs, the drum tells you what to do and when to do. So
and Keegan, you mentioned earlier that there is a kind of spiritual connection, you know, to the Kalinda. Talk to us about that. What is this? How is it spiritual?
Well, it's spiritual because one, a lot of the game is tied up into African ancestry, right? We always talk about pay homage to older stick fighters who would have passed, who would have gone. You know, it is the whole guile in itself is considered a ring of transcendence, you know, literally, because for me, take it from me, I am literally just like Carrie and Ruckus is the same kind of fella, you know what I mean? But we transform, you know what I mean? When you step into the ring, something happens to you. It would not be the same Carrie, would not be the same Ruckus, you know what I'm saying? So what kind of energy, what you're channeling there is a very important kind of thing to look at. So that's why one of the things we say is that it's a spiritual kind of thing, because you really have to feel it and understand. And that answers the question of the why. What they're doing there? I mean, I like what they're doing, and it looks like they're having fun, but I wouldn't go in there until you experience the whole community, the drumming, the singing, the lavways, the energy, and that unseen part that we can't describe just like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Years ago, I went to a Kalinda fight tournament at King's Wharf in San Fernando. Years ago, right? It's probably early secondary school days. I went down with a friend, and there were two warriors who were going to fight each other. And, you know, same thing, you know, there were people beating the drums and people chanting and whatnot. I don't remember the chants they were singing. But one kept chanting to himself war, and the other one kept chanting to himself power, and they would beat the stick on the ground, and you know, they would do their motions and techniques and stuff like that. And it was something really fascinating to look at. And the whole, you could literally feel the vibe and feel the spirit in the area as they enter the ring, and they were kind of facing off against each other.
Keegan, I wanna find out about how is that musical knowledge passed down, because you know we have all these chants, we have this whole wide variety, and you said that it transforms as it passes down generation, as it passes from place to place as well. But is there a way that people learn how to do it, or is it that you just have to be around and you pick it up?
Well, I mean, in today's age, internet and YouTube, a couple of things are online. Different people, including myself, would have done recordings over time. I would say personally that there's still a lot of work to do in terms of archiving and making music available in a way where we could teach. So those things will start coming soon, especially in this technology era. But essentially over time, it's really been staying true to the African way of doing things, which is passed down through oral tradition, right?
No, I understand that, but for the stick fighter who gets into the ring, how does he learn all the different chants and songs that you all do? Is it that he has to study it? He has to just, you know, as Rocker said, just listen and learn?
Yeah,
or do you all teach them?
Listen and learn. Literally listen and learn. You how to be in the environment. You see, we can't forget the context of what we're in. We're not, stick fight is not a modern concept where, all right, I'm going to learn this thing, so I have a 7-day course or a 7-week course. No.
A master
you know
class.
What I mean? Yeah, a master class. Get too accustomed to that vibe. No, you're in it, or you're all right, cool. You're going to get some busted knuckles, some bruised ribs. You have to sit down with the drummers, you'll pick up your own vibe, you'll learn the songs, you'll learn your song, a song that connects. You how to be in it. This is not a warrior weekend.
Right.
You know, this is an immersion into a lifestyle, and the music, the drumming, the eating, food, the style, everything is a culture. And like any culture, you have to become immersed.
I understand
and do you
that,
find
right?
that the younger,
I understand that. That's okay, Natalie. I understand that, you know, you need to be immersed in the culture, and you need to you know, be there and really put yourself into it. But do you believe that way and would serve to properly preserve the culture and to have it going, and it wouldn't be lost eventually as younger people may lose interest and whatnot? How are we going to continue the preservation with keeping tradition as well?
That's a good question. Everybody learns differently, and everybody would want to hold on to different aspects. So if you want the like, for example, it's like a cake, or should I, like let's say a cake or something that has something in the middle. You can hold on to the outward forms of a thing, and you can be comfortable with that. You know, so we can provide things like that. You know, a stick fight course or a weekend experience. All these things can happen. And they are there. There are different groups who are doing different things that allow people to jump in for a day or two and feel the vibe. And they do learn, and nobody's saying no. But my personal thing is, you know, with any form of traditional or cultural thing or package, there is always that element, and there's always a section of a population who would want far more. And the only way to get at is to meet with people.
But what about the younger people? Do you find that there is an interest, you know, from the younger generation to learn about stick fighting and to also get involved in stick fighting?
Well, it depends on who we're speaking about. People from the communities where stick fighting is, it's not a matter of interest or not interest. It's like some things are really and truly just absorbed. They're there. You know, I've seen stick fight play like football in the road among some younger children in certain communities. But then you have certain communities that don't know anything about it. How do they experience it? And that is, I mean, things like COVID right now, I think stick fight was building up a certain speed over the last couple of years. You know what I mean? In 4 to 5 years, we've been seeing stick fight come to the forefront, and young people, especially the teachers, it's young teachers who coming back now and asking people like myself and others, hey, teach our children. So it's the young teachers teaching the younger children,
Right.
you know, and a lot of young children picking up. So a lot of the young teachers doing really good work, if I must say so. That is one of the ways that I can tell that stick fight is being propagated. The young teachers are doing a good job in being curious and asking questions like yourselves. You all are interested. So questions like this coming from the community would encourage more learning. But I think the general direction we're going in now is how do we preserve it? And that's a good question that we should all try to figure out as well together. I mean, I have my issues, my ideas, which was for another program, I guess. But to me, the key is the interest that we have here this morning.
But for those communities who don't do stick fighting, how do we get them involved? Because as you said, you know, you kind of just get immersed in it because it's in your community, you see it, you know, you're a part of it. But for those communities that don't do stick fighting at all, how do we get them involved?
I can tell you what I've been doing, what I have done. When we did Boss Head, this song, one of the reasons that I worked with our team to do that was I was heavy into music, you know, calypsonians, soca artists, all of these things I was really into. And then I got into stick fighting. And I spent a couple of years doing that. And then after that, I stopped and I said, I was genuinely interested in getting this stuff out. You know, Ruckus, as you would know, music is about, I was interested in finding new ways to make music because I was kind of bored of what I was doing before. And I was like, well, if I do a song, it wouldn't do the justice in terms of branding and getting the energy out there. So I was around Marshall at the time and we were doing different types of music. We did Waiting on the Stage, which was a big hit, the Road March. And then I was like, right, good.
A big hit.
Yeah.
The Road March song of the year.
The Road March song, yeah, that one.
Go ahead.
And I was like, all right. Marshall was open because we were talking certain things. And I was like, let me see if I could sneak something in here. Because by branding it with a good, what we call an influencer now, back then that was just a strong brand to move with. Once you get somebody like Marshall singing a song like that, he would bring interest. And long story short, Marshall Bungie had feds all over the world singing Holy Vay and asking who's Joe Tamada.
Yeah.
So the utilization of strong pop culture elements, it doesn't have to be soca alone. We talk about music, we talk about film, we talk about, if you see a stick fight character in a video game, that's gonna take that next level. So things like that.
But Keegan, in terms of that, right, you're saying use the influencers to be able to get the message and the music and the culture out there. However, is it that, you know, the community was behind that song as well because of somebody like you being involved in it? Or because if Marshall had just pick up and sing a stick fighting song, I think people would have taken it seriously if he wasn't coming from a rooted place, like you being immersed in the culture.
I think I had a strong part to play in that, yes. The community that was behind it, Marshall was supported by people who were known both in stick fight and in the drum culture. So you have Hanif Guerra and them with the whole drum crew from the Lavantil section. You had Copy, and there were some known drummers from Kush, you know. We had deceased King David, Acid Brown, wonderful, amazing stick fighter, who was also part of that whole package. So there was a representation from the community. Me personally, I would think not everybody bought in one time, you know, for varied reasons. But I think it was, in itself, it gave a little of a spark of life to the community. Commercial came down to a stick fight game due to that song and everything. And you know what I mean? So it was a start of something that even we tried to continue thereafter. But it didn't work out like that. But there's room for more artists and more work. So like right now, one of the songs I sent you is something that we did years ago, trying to experiment with the sound of Kalinda and other forms of musical types. Like at the time was dubstep and that kind of stuff. So there's room for even producers, music producers like myself, to continue working with the music and infusing it. Then I have short films. You could do a short film with stick fight and put it out there and if then up on Netflix, guess what? All of a sudden stick fight is a thing. So we have to utilize our culture and infuse it in the current forms of entertainment, I think. that are happening right now. So people could then, hey, where's this boy, and trace back. But the implantation of the content in the digital content has to be ingenious, authentic and genius. Because let me give you a last example. What the Japanese are doing now with their anime cartoons, they would go into like these fights, and before the man would hold a posture, and they would go into this whole narrative of where the posture came from. And in 1979, this guy used to. So that kind of they transcribing their culture within modern pop culture. So I think that's one of the main ways that we could save and send our thing forward.
Well, Keegan, thank you so much for joining us this morning and sharing this information, sharing this knowledge, and congratulations on the journey so far. I know that it's going to be fantastic going forward as well.
So before I go, I'm going to sing a song for Natalie.
Quickly, so we have to go
to Rosie coming down with a bunch of roses coming down. Sweet Rosie coming down with a bunch of roses coming down. Rosie, my darling, coming down. Natalie, my darling, coming down. Rosie, my darling, coming down. Natalie, my darling,
coming down. Thank you, Keegan. Thank you so much.
Have a good one.
All right, you too, brother.